Hello, let's do Wordle for Monday, June 8th. Let's play. Yesterday we spun the wheel. It said to start with spark. That's not how you spell spark. All right, just an A. A not being in the middle always makes me want to do an AY word for some reason. It just feels right. But we also have an E that we could use. I mean, I don't know if there's an E, but E is available, which is a very common letter, very common vowel. The most common letter, actually. Other common letters, we got T, N, and L. So I'm wondering if we should use an E somewhere. Like we could do like an EA word here. That seems reasonable if we can like end in EAL or EAT, something like that. EAN. Clean. I think clean works well. C is a high value letter in addition to that. I don't think we're getting the T with all this stuff. So let's go for clean. All right, still just an A. Okay, now we're definitely going to go for an AY word. It can be a bit trappy, but with L gone, R gone, N gone, I'm not too worried about it. There's a lot of double letter. Why don't we think about what double letters go between A and Y before we lock ourselves into it? So like, definitely D, definitely T, like daddy and batty, and is there a GGY left? Baggy, maybe? That's enough. If I can do a D, T, and G in this guess, that would be great. I'm not sure how we'd get all of those squeezed in, but we have to use an A somewhere. We'll probably use it second, but we could use it somewhere else. The word dogma obviously doesn't get the T, but it gets us the D, G, and M can often double up by the Y. And so dogma is going to get rid of a lot of those options. So let's go for that. It ends in A. Okay, well, it isn't a Y at the end. And there's an M somewhere. It's not mama today. It's not magma. Could be mafia. That would be interesting. I don't mind guessing mafia here. Double A. Nice. Wow. I actually really enjoyed that solve. That was a fun solve. Thinking ahead about avoiding that trap actually did get me that M, which was nice. Dogma. Okay. I wonder what the bot thinks. I bet it doesn't actually appreciate how awesome my guesses were, but we'll see. Before we do that, we're going to spin the members wheel. See what tomorrow's starting word is. It will be Jazzy, just by Kale Fitch. So we're back to the let's all struggle. And that's one of those AY words I was talking about as well. All right. So tomorrow we'll be starting with Jazzy against our better judgments. All right. Let's do some analysis here and see what's going on there. So the answer was Mafia. And we guessed Spark as our start. There are 343 words left. It says the only way to avoid some traps is cav, gavel, or metal. I was sent an analysis. I understand that it doesn't show up well. I don't know what to do about that. Either the text is going to be small or it's going to be off screen. I mean, but people complained that they couldn't see it. So I don't know what to do. It just doesn't display well here, but here it is. I can't scroll it left or right. I could make it smaller so that it's kind of fits in there. Well, maybe you can read that, maybe you can't. But anyway, the actual best follow-up is table, followed by caned, laden, laced, angle, canal. There's a lot of things that can win. I guessed clean. Clean is here. I don't know what count that is. That looks around 15 maybe 20. With 3.111. So clean actually wasn't in trouble, although this will say it was. Yeah, said it might lose on the aunt trap, but apparently there is a way out of the aunt trap if you're careful. I didn't even think about the aunt trap. I was thinking about AY. I went dogma. Dogma's on the list. Look at that. Number 6 on the list. And after dogma, it was mafia or mamba. Ooh, that would have been fun to be mamba. But I did not go for mamba. Double M, double A with a B, not first. A very strange word in terms of English word construction. It would have gone. Did it say table? Yeah, it said table. I'll work on a way to display this better. I just don't have it right now. After table, it would go candy with 38 words left. So testing that AY, but just walking right into it. But at least it's all unique letters. And after that, we've got gamma, magma, mama. Wow. So there's 5 words left. Gamma, mafia, magma, mama, maxim. So it says we better get into this gamma, magma, mama issue right away because they get each other, which is really nice. And then from there, if it's not those, we can actually distinguish mafia from maxim because of the double M versus not double M. So we're going to go one of these and then go mafia. It gets it in 5. All right. It starts with tails. There's 116 words left. We're going to go carny. Still nothing from carny. We're going to go this mamba word again. And then mafia. Mamba the dancer, or the black mamba, the snake. All right, all greens for this one. Gets it in 4. Steel is going to have the A out of place. We're going to go macro, testing it second. It is MA, so we're down to 9 words. And it says magma is a little bit edging out the other ones for whatever reason. Maybe because manga exists in there. And so after magma, there's 3 words left. Mafia, mania, mana, and just go one of them, and then you'll get it. So it's a 4 or a 5. All right, adieu, the most common starting word. We get the A and the I. We're going to go train. It is not AI like that. So now we're going to go Malik. Interesting. I feel like the M, L, and C are accounting for a lot of those A. No, we know it doesn't end in Y because there's an I there. Never mind. So Malik just happens to be slightly better than a bunch of other guesses. And then we're down to Mafia and Maxim. So it could be 4 or 5. All right. Audio. Again goes train, Malik. So it's the same. It's interesting how audio and adieu end up with similar solves. I mean, the only difference is whether or not there's an E. But once you know that I was 4th, there's probably not an E to go along with the A anyway. All right. Stare, very common starting word. We're testing double A with canal or banal, but canal's a little better. And then from here, we're going to test mamba because there is double A. So, Babka, wow, like an old lady. Gamma, Kappa, Mafia. Mamba just happens to distinguish all of them, which is crazy. We get it in 4. Pert tries to get it in 2. There are 209 words left, so we're in the 209 buckets. We have a 1 in 209 chance of getting it in 2 today, so probably not. We're going to go Canal, Gamma, Mafia. And then finally, tarps is what the official bot starts with now. We're going to go Gable. That's fun. 129 words left. And then candy, testing the AY. And then finally, we could do Mafia or we could do Maxim Mafia. So it's a 4 or 5. All right, let's check how people are doing today. First, I'll grab my screenshot. So, save this. There we go. And let's look at the bot. Oh, here it is. First in hard mode. Give me 95 skill. Okay, so the bot appreciated my guesses, I guess. 88 skill for Spark, which doesn't count towards the skill score. Talon, the most common follow-up. Interesting. Yeah, that gets the TLN. It gets another vowel in there. Cheat is common. Clean is also pretty common. Table. Leighton, cleat, tamed, match. Lance is the suggested one. Very few people did that. Dance. 250 people starting with Spark, so it must not be unique to our start. Dogma 91. It would have been Gamut. Interesting. And finally, Mafia was a 99. I had 2 words to pick from. I picked the right one. It gave us 73 luck. That tells me that it thinks Mamba is slightly less common than Mafia. Interesting. It does Tarps, Cable, Manga, Mafia. That looks familiar. All right. 0.2 started with Mafia. 1.3. 11%. 40.6. 77.3. 95.6 is pretty low. People losing on Maxim most often. That shouldn't be surprising to us. Magic, Mania, Madid, Malik, Maria, Mama, and Mavis. Wow. All right, let's refresh. Check in regular mode then. What was the answer? It was Mafia. Oh my gosh. My memory, short-term memory just shot. All right. 93 skill, so slightly lower skill on that one. We got 764 starting with clean. It's really interesting how proportionally the starts are very similar in between regular mode and hard mode, to the point that we can tell if, but the people who follow along with me tend to play in hard mode. So we know that it's only basically only people who follow along with my start if the number of normal mode solves is lower than the number of hard mode solves for that starting word. It's pretty interesting. There's not a clear follow-up here. A lot of 2%s, about, table, laugh, alone, cheat, talon, adieu, audio, clean. Intel is a suggestion. Whenever the suggestion is a filler, it's never showing up in the solve. No one else is doing that. All right, dogma, mafia. All right, I think it gave a slightly lower skill for dogma there. Oh wow, it does slate and then it does a filler corny and then it goes right to mafia. Interesting. 0.4 on mafia, 1.5, 9.2, 33.9 is way lower. 68.7 is way lower. 91 is way lower. Holy cow. A lot of people losing on Maxim, Magic, Mania, Madid, Malik, Mama, Maria. Wow. Mavis, Mavic. Is this just people not knowing the word mafia? Or thinking mafia might be a proper noun? I don't know. Well, how'd you do?